from the main entrance and the drop-off point, you've got the restroom, you've got coin press, you've got the Disney Vacation Club, some lovely artwork, information boards which update regularly, the beautiful reception foyer which is very Caribbean, especially with the fans in the ceiling, and you've got the main marketplace and the grab and go on the left hand side. So we're going to head outside, get some fresh air. It's actually quite warm today, which is nice. So you've got this beautiful area which has got, this is really nice at night time. If we've got any footage, we'll pop it in here. They've got ping pong tables. So yeah, there is, the Riviera Resort is basically, you can really call it part of it because it's literally connected. You can walk all the way around there. We've been there a couple of times this trip. One to just have a look around, and the second to have actual breakfast. You can see that in our series from 2022 in February, and that was Topolino's character breakfast, and it was really nice, really great experience. So it's quite handy to know that that's really close, because we didn't when we first booked it. We didn't realise how close, and you can actually get a Skyliner from where we were situated as well in the resort. But yeah, you've got a beautiful view. Now this is somewhere we didn't manage to fit in sadly, but I've heard the food is really good, which is Sebastian's Bistro. See that there? Sebastian's obviously being the Jamaican crab from Little Mermaid. Next to Sebastian's is the Banana Cabana, or Banana Cabana as they would say. This has actually got some really nice cocktails and drinks. It's a really nice place to sort of sit and like snack, but mostly drink. Really beautiful cocktails, really beautiful choices of beers. I believe they do flights of drinks as well. But yeah, that's connected right next to Sebastian's. Then you've got the main pool. We haven't been to this one just because wherever we've gone it's been very loud and very popular, so we tend to prefer like a quieter pool experience, but we have done pools on other resorts before. And the nice thing about this resort is each section of the resort has its own private pool for that, you know, residents of that area, along with beachside, which goes by the lake, which is really nice, especially at night time when it's a warm evening, to be able to sort of sit out and just take in the night air and the cool breeze. It's very nice. Now where I'm walking now, as you can see the pool behind me here, we're walking over a bridge over the lake and it goes to an island.
Mom, what is that?
So this island is called Caribbean Key. Not Q-U-A-Y, but C-A-Y. So this has a children's play area. But also you can have, at night time they do movies. They do movies under the stars. We haven't seen them happening while we've been here, but I think because it's cold at night in February, so they don't tend to put it on as much. But it's a really nice area. It's actually a really nice spot to cut through to the other side of the resort. As you can see, you've got AstroTurf here, so you can actually, you know, sort of sit and settle. You've got a play area over there for kids. So we were staying over there. This is where the main hub is. We were actually in one of the furthest parts of the resort, and we were warned, oh, it's going to be a long walk. Actually, the walk wasn't too bad at all. It is when you've got suitcases. So if you've got suitcases or heavy baggage or prams, etc., you can use the internal bus service, which is very regular. The resort is considered moderate. We got quite a good deal in the UK because the rooms we were in are the dated rooms, so they're kind of quite old rooms. I will say that the rooms are very dated. It served its purpose. The beds were really comfy. We slept really well. Maybe because we're exhausted every day, but we slept really well. The room definitely needs an update. The thick wooden bed isn't practical. It's fun for the first 5 seconds. I think even kids would struggle to have a lot of fun with it. There's only so much fun you can get out of the big block of wood. I think even as a kid I would have not really been that impressed with the boat styling beyond the first impression.
So even though, you know, I wasn't really into the whole pirate bed thing, the beds were really nice and really nice to sleep on. The room is a bit dated overall. It had PowerPoints and it had a few USBs. One thing I did notice about the USB is they charge a lot slower than if you just put your USB connection in there for the phones and things like that. It did seem to charge a lot slower than normal connections.
The bathroom's all right, but again, dated. It needs an update, like all the fixtures and fittings.
We found the shampoo and conditioner were easy enough to dispense. The body wash, not so much. The one you use the most of. From the very first day, it was kind of finicky. The nozzle fell off, and that wasn't. I'd put that back on, but it was always really hard to get it out of there. In the last 2 days, all of a sudden, it became a lot easier, and it became a lot more evident that we'd basically had an almost empty body wash for almost 2 weeks, and then she finally refilled it on the last 2 days. And you could say, "Oh, did you not see it?" But to be honest, in the bottles there, it's hard to really see inside the bottle. It's not, there is a clear little bit where you can kind of check the levels, but it's not that easy. But you also can't change it yourself. It's kind of locked on, so only the person who's doing the room can change that. So that was not hugely impressive.
Storage, there's lots of storage, but it's again very dated. I will say that the cast members working here, including all the cleaning staff and people who work on the grounds, have all been amazing. Really, really good. At the moment, they're doing reduced service on room cleaning. You can opt out entirely of room cleaning, or it's like so many days.
Even though there was only 2 of us staying in the room, there were a ton of towels always in the room. They did stock up the towels every 2 to 3 days, so the towels won't change every day. They were changed every 2 to 3 days.
So we've come home to a nice, the beds have been made, which is nice.
Unusual,
and they've grabbed Rob's ears
and Darren's teddy bears.
I like the way they've just perched Olu on the edge there. It's
They've had a lot of fun with
bless them.
The bedding was only changed twice when we were there for 2 weeks. So we were there for 14, 15 days, and the bedding was actually only changed twice the whole time we were there. So I'm not sure why. I guess the possibilities of COVID, but if they can come in and change the towels on a regular basis every 2 to 3 days, and they can come in for other things, change the bins, then the beds, is not that much of a stretch adding on to the other things. So I don't understand why the beds weren't changed more often. We spoke to our friends who stayed in the Polynesian for one night, and they said something similar, where they stayed in Pop Century, I believe, before they were in Polynesian. And they said something similar about the beds not being changed. I don't know if that's a Disney policy right now or not, but yeah. The beds could have been done with being changed a lot more often, I believe. Yeah, so the room hasn't been done, the beds haven't been made. There were an awful lot of towels in the bathroom, so I did suspect that they weren't going to come in for a while, but there was no kind of warning, or there was no
apparent warning. I've had a look and there's nothing that's...
Before we came, there was nothing letting us know that there wouldn't be room service. The air conditioning was fine, so that was easily usable. You could set the temperature fairly easily. There was 1 or 2 times where I set it for a bit warmer when it got cold at night, and it didn't come on warm for a while. I'm not sure if that was something to do with what I was doing, but most of the time, it's been fairly warm here, and in the daytime, and it's nice to have that air conditioning in the room. TV worked fine, that was all good. Darren got his Housewives shows, so no problems there.
I will say that the Skyliner has been a huge bonus, especially where we were. It was a couple of minutes walk to the Skyliner, and there's a really handy Joffrey's. We use that almost daily, and it's just across the water from where we were. And for me, the biggest pull for this resort is definitely the Skyliner. Easier than using Pop Century and Art of Animation, because you need to change more times with Art of Animation and Pop Century. Here we can get direct to Hollywood Studios, and we can also get we can go essentially direct. It goes via different points of changing, but we don't need to get off. If you're a resort guest at Caribbean, you essentially can go all the way through to Epcot, and it just goes through the Riviera and like a turning point, and you're sorted. So I was really impressed with that, and we didn't have any problems with the Skyliner at all the whole time we were here. It obviously will be busy. Like our last night at the parks was, at the time of filming this was last night. We went to Epcot and we left after Harmonious, but we took a long route round World Showcase. There was a huge queue, the biggest queue we've seen. We expected it though, and there's places to sit, to wait, like hold out until it gets quieter. I have issues with my legs, so for me that was perfect. We could just sit and relax and wait for the queue to die down. We weren't in a rush, and it's a quick service right back to the resort.
So in terms of Skyliner access, I think it's fantastic. One thing I will say is a lot of the bus routes were fairly decent. Going to Disney Springs was fairly easy. It's a fairly easy trip, and there's fairly regular buses. Getting to some of the resorts or the other hotels can be a little difficult. We went to Polynesian. We had to get the bus back from Magic Kingdom, and it seemed like a lot of the other hotels had a lot more buses than we did. So we saw about 3 or 4 go for Pop Century. In the meantime, we didn't have any. And the same thing was at Animal Kingdom. We had 2 go for the Riviera, and we didn't get any, and that was 20 to 30 minutes just waiting for a bus that didn't turn up. So we ended up getting on the Riviera bus, and then just taking the Skyliner from the Riviera, which is really close, another less than 5 minutes walk from the main base at the Caribbean Beach, and just getting the Skyliner over to where we were staying. So this is our first time really relying on the bus system, and we did that for 2 weeks. We only had to do that about half the time. The other half the time we were taking the Skyliner. You know, a lot of the bus drivers are really nice, and most of the time the buses are reliable. Occasionally they didn't turn up, or they were early, so you will miss them if you're not there 5 to 10 minutes early before the bus is due to arrive. I think we saw one pulling out, and it was 4 minutes earlier than it should have been. So the bus system is a bit mixed. I had a few mixed feelings about it, especially at the end of a long day. You know, at 10:30 at night, and you're waiting for that bus, and you see other buses pulling up over and over again for the other resorts, and yours doesn't turn up. So there was a bit of mixed feelings about that one. In regards to food at the resort, we only did the cafeteria twice. The food was not great. Everyone in there was really nice, and everyone was really helpful. But the food was not the best quality. I got to be honest with you, and it was not appealing to go back there.
Macaroni and cheese, what I expected. It tastes like something you get out of the can. Plasticky cheese, kind of quite sickly.
It tastes better with extra salt.
Awesome. Just add some salt. But yeah, we've got our usual refills.
So we just finished eating in the cafeteria, and my burger was not great. It's kind of comparable quality to what I had at Universal. It's pretty dodgy kind of burger, to be honest.
Newsflash, my pizza was even worse.
Combined with the mac and cheese, not the best quality. I guess it's kind of a cafeteria type food, but not the best.
Yeah, so like I say, my pizza, it was not the best either. In fact, probably the worst pizza I've ever had. Even with the macaroni and cheese, which was plasticky and edible.
We didn't end up going to the bar here by the pool or the restaurant, but they could be quite nice options. But the cafeteria was not the best if you're sticking to those kind of meals. And I have really actually enjoyed this resort. And if we didn't have a hire car, I think this is the best one for us in terms of location, just for that location in terms of the Skyliner. The Skyliner is a huge bonus. I can't imagine what it was like before the Skyliner. But using that Skyliner and the location, I've quite enjoyed the resort, and I definitely would recommend it if you think you're coming here above somewhere else. Yeah, go for it.
Any downsides to the resort? So I would say the downsides are it is a moderate resort, and sometimes the prices will be quite high for this resort, depending on the season. Ours cost a few hundred more than staying at Pop Century. At the time of booking, I was a bit kind of like, did we do the right thing? But actually, I'm glad we did, because, like I say, we've actually had a really good trip here. The resort facilities are pretty great in regards to what we need. Pop Century is not as big, so everyone's packed in a smaller area. Same with Art of Animation. So the pools tend to be a bit busier because they're all sort of closer to each other. Here they're all spaced out. There's the main pool obviously which gets busy, but there's lots of little pools, and also the refills stations, the Coca-Cola refill stations where you get the mug. You can also use those at not just the main reception, but there's also some dotted around various parts of the resort as well. And there was one literally a couple minute walk from our room at the local swimming pool. So yeah, all in all, I was very impressed. If I can get this, I think if we book in the future, if we can get this and we're not driving, this is the first time we haven't driven, if I can get this for the right price, I'd be quite happy to come here again. If it was a higher price, say if it was higher than Coronado Springs by a significant amount, which can happen. Coronado Springs, you really are relying on the bus service and having a car of your own. Here you've got the bus service, but you've also got the Skyliner. If we had a car, I probably would stay at Coronado Springs, which we've stayed at before and was in our first series, staying at Walt Disney World. But if I could get the right price for this place, yeah, I'd come here again. We had a nice time, and yeah, for us it was spot on, nearest to our favourite theme park, which is Hollywood Studios.
Anybody who knows me, that's English gent, Darren, is I love a shop, and in the central section of the resort you've of course got a shop for lots of goods and little bits and bobs, and it's called the Calypso Trading Post. Open currently 7:30 till 10 p.m. and they have very resort specific stuff first of all, so I actually like these but Rob doesn't. Personally I like it, but I like it. Then you get prints, there's ears specific to the resort, children's t-shirts which I always prefer to the adult ones. Of course at the moment we've got 50th anniversary going on. We would love this game but it's so heavy. Got coffees, and teas, wishables. It's actually not, this is one of the better shops I've seen because it's actually got a good range. Some really nice stuff. I actually own this already. They've got these really cute things which are the Skyliners that they actually hang on the little hang thing. I've already got that, so I don't really feel the need to get that one. It'd be nice if we got the Star Wars one, so those being us, but I don't think they do. No, Haunted Mansion, Stitch is kind of fun, but very minimal. Yeah, no Star Wars one sadly. But yeah, so you've got t-shirts aplenty, you've got cardigans, sweaters, lots of bits and bobs for children as well, like young children, hats, practicality, big fans. Actually haven't seen these anywhere in the parks, this is kind of like nice. That is, doesn't say. That is very much needed. It's called Fan Ventilator. And you've even got your lounge flies, sport jerseys. There's more of these things. That's actually not bad. I actually might get one of those. And then you've got drinks as well. Meals. We bought one of these the other night from Disney Springs, but we actually have them in the resorts as well, which is good. All your snacks and things like toiletries, mini toiletries, bakeware and homewares, which is very cool. Really great for last minute gifts before you go and catch the Mears bus or whatever you're getting back to the airport. Nappies, creams for young children, babies. Lots of wishables. I actually really like this one. I also like this one. Very tempted to try my luck. Let's see. Let's have a look. So with it being the Caribbean resort, you're going to get a few pirate themes. Swords, lightsabers, stereotypical pirate things. Loads of little toys and gifts, cuddly toys, things for your phone, so that's pop sockets, lots of things, including blind boxes, which I tend to buy quite a lot, mystery bags. Kingdom of Cute, which I actually did collect, but I don't want to spend $18 in something I might not get what I want. Or maybe I will. Small World. Celebratory pins as well are in the resort shops. And lanyards for your pins. And passes. Yeah, some really nice stuff. Look, here's our boys. I think this is relatively new because I've just seen this come on Shop Disney UK.